Now I'd like to call upon Ronnie Yedidia Klein, who is the Director of Public Diplomacy at the Israeli Embassy, to say a few words. Thank you.
Rabbonim, honored guests and friends, it truly is a privilege for me to be standing here today, marking the second official Memorial Day for the exodus of Jewish refugees from Arab lands and Iran. Israel's Minister for Social Equality, Gila Gamliel, said this weekend, "For years, more than 1 million Jews have lived in flourishing communities and had a rich cultural life in Arab countries and in Iran. Our goal now is to tell their story." The history of the Jewish people is one of persecution, of pogroms, and of pain, in Arab lands no less than in Europe. Between the years 1947 and 1972, or the years following Resolution 181 in the UN, according to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, 856,000 Jews from Arab lands were uprooted without anything and made refugees, torn away from their homes, their property, and their history. So, our purpose here today is simple. We cannot reverse history. As Lynn said, no one wants to go back there or go back in time. But we can demand justice for the nearly 1 million Jewish refugees whose stories have been left untold. Their history is no less real than that of the millions of others who have been made refugees in this world, and their stories are no less painful. But if we don't stand here and remember them, who will? I'm proud to come from a nation that immediately embraced 600,000 of these Jewish refugees with full citizenship rights, nearly doubling the population of fledgling Israel at the time, stretching the resources of the new country to its very limits. I'm proud that last year, the government of the State of Israel, with no dissent whatsoever, voted to officially recognize this day. Those who brought forward the bill were two members of the Knesset, Shimon Ochayon and Nissim Ze'ev, two MKs from completely different backgrounds and different parties, working together for this vitally important issue. Israel is really a melting pot, a country made of refugees and multiculturalism, with a population where many of our ancestors felt they had no other place in the world. One story is no more important than any other, and we must take the time to treat all equally and remember the pain of the East as well as the pain of the West. There is still time to speak the truth, to make sure that the stories of the Jewish refugees are not forgotten, and that their history lives on through their descendants and through all the Jewish people. Through the testimonies we hear here tonight, we can make a start, but we must pledge to do more than simply meet here once a year. I'm not a scholar or an expert, and my family is not a part of this narrative. I myself am on a journey of learning and understanding about this vast and in many places unexplored history. I hope that this time next year, I'll know more, understand more, and am able to share more, so that the 850,000 are not forgotten, and one by one, we will reclaim their histories together. I'd like to ensure that Harif, under the leadership of Lynn Julius, gets the recognition that they deserve. Day in, day out, they fight for these voices to be heard. Thank you for the work you've done, and will continue to do. Israel needs more people like you, Lynn. I'd like to thank those who will take the time later to share their stories and the stories of their families. Thank you for allowing us to be a part of your history. I'd also like to thank all of you for coming here today. Thank you for taking the time to listen and learn, to remember and observe. I hope to see you all again next year. Thank you.